tariffs hit China today as hopes of a trade deal between China and the U.S. fade. The White House blames China for the breakdown, insisting Beijing went back on its promised economic reforms. Today, the U.S. hiked tariffs on $200 billion of Chinese imports from 10% to 25%. American businesses brace for the financial fallout of the trade fight as President Trump urges patience. And on how all this will affect you, joining us now is Dr. Tom Fullerton, professor of economics at UTEP. First of all, thank you so much, Dr. Fullerton, for being here with us.
It's good to be here.
Yes, so let's start off with what products are going to be hit with the higher tariff, and will shoppers here in the U.S. see higher prices on store shelves?
Well, there's a lot of products that are going to be hit by these new tariffs, but the ones that are probably going to cause the most difficulties are actually the ones that most people aren't even aware of. Those are intermediate inputs that are, let's see, built into other goods. They're at different stages of the production process, and this is what business analysts refer to as supply chain disruptions. Those will cause, let's see, business margins, their profit margins, to decline. Those are what leads to reduced profitability and potential, let's see, business closures. That's a big source of the problems during the 1930s when a trade war between the United States and Europe ended up causing the Great Depression to be much worse than it needed to be. So that's where the real risk is.
All right, so you're saying it can affect businesses, so does that also translate into losing jobs?
Yes, and if you recall, during the Great Depression, the unemployment rate went as high as 25%. That's not going to occur this time, but it could cause the unemployment rate to go up both in the United States as well as China. In terms of the Trump administration complaints about Chinese economic practices, those are valid. And they almost had an agreement, and then the president of China decided to X out certain portions of the agreement, and that's what frustrated President Trump. On that, President Trump is standing on solid ground. The unfortunate part is that a trade war is the worst possible way of going about addressing this. It would have been better if we would have remained a part of the Trans-Pacific Partnership.
All right, Dr. Fullerton, you just called this a trade war. Of course, we're hearing that. Is the U.S. winning this?
The U.S. is in a better position than China is, simply because the U.S. has a trade deficit with China. And so this will impact China more severely than it will the United States, but that doesn't mean that the United States is going to escape unscathed.
Will this help us in the long run?
In the long run, if it does bring about structural changes in the Chinese economic management practices, that will be a good thing. But that's a very long and drawn-out procedure when you engage in a trade war to achieve that objective.
All right, Dr. Fullerton, professor of economics at UTEP, thank you again for being here with us today.
Thank you.
All right, we'll be right back.